All right. Welcome to episode 2 of Gage Your Health. We got Slippy and Nelso on each side of me. What's going on, guys?
Howdy.
We're flanking you. We're here for we're in a fighting formation.
Was that a steak reference? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, we're like birds.
I didn't think it was a steak
like
reference
geese.
at all.
I thought it was a flank steak.
Oh, that's flank steak's delicious.
What's the other flank?
Yeah, it's like
we're
flanking someone.
Yeah, like a
If you're, like, coming on
military
Yeah.
maneuver.
New to me.
Oh, okay. So how you guys been?
Pretty good. I just learned something new.
Yeah,
Oh, good. That's awesome.
I'm teaching things. I'm feeling pretty good.
That's awesome. So I figured we'd talk about some music today and like how that all ties in with, mental health issues and how that all helps throughout mental health issues as well. So does either of you guys have anything to start with it?
So I thought we were going to get into how maybe music affected your mental health. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, no, I can. That ties right into it as well, actually.
So
So as a child, I of course got into mainstream music, rap, and everything like that. And in through that, as everybody knows, is a lot of drug references and a lot of everything like that. And a couple
quite explicit.
Yeah,
exactly.
pretty regularly throughout the whole
And
genre.
one of my biggest high school albums was Chance the Rapper's Acid Rap. So, which is an album, if you haven't listened to it, is completely and utterly about acid and doing drugs. And don't get me wrong, fantastic album. I loved it. If you guys haven't listened to it, I highly recommend.
I think
it's amazing.
It's a good mixtape.
Yeah,
right?
no,
Is it a mixtape?
yeah,
or an
no,
album?
it is a mixtape.
It's a mixtape.
I believe so.
I
I'm
don't know.
not
I'm just gonna
100%
nod and
sure.
say, yeah.
Not
It was.
positive.
I think it's a mixtape.
It's
It
on
was
both
Apple
platforms.
Music. Yeah, it's good. Whatever.
It's everywhere.
Whatever. But so I started.
easy to
I listened to that pretty young, and then so it kind of got me used to being normalized into that kind of drug
Yeah,
culture.
it's pretty much an advertisement for acid. I mean, the first name of the album is Acid.
Exactly, and you know what? Chance the Rapper has come very, very far in his years. If you haven't followed him at all, I'm a huge fan. My dog is named Chancellor. Not gonna lie to you. Yeah, crazy,
Little
right?
play on words.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. That was an ex-girlfriend's one, actually.
What, the dog or the name?
Oh, we don't gotta go into that one.
Your
You don't want to flush
this.
this.
But as I was saying, so he influenced my life a lot, and he's come very far. So great for him. I'm not downing him at any.
And he's very charitable too, right?
He is very, very charitable. He actually has bought a Chicago newspaper to promote minority violence and all that kind of stuff. Not promote minority violence. Oh my good God in heaven!
So I'll step in here as a lawyer.
Oh my good God! I can't believe I said that.
Mitigate it.
Yeah, exactly. To show it, to bring it to the forefront, and to kind of show it as an issue.
Would you say he was your most influential rapper or artist
No,
as a kid?
Throughout my entire life, it turned to be Mac Miller. Throughout
Okay.
everything.
How much younger are you than?
I'm only 23. So Mac Miller was, I believe, 20.
Did he die the same age as Kurt Cobain and all the other people that died at the same
He
age?
was 26.
He actually had a line out, and it was something along the lines of, I'm not going to make it to the 27 club. I will do a search on it right now.
The correct club.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure he died just a couple weeks before his 27th birthday.
I know Mac Miller was pretty vocal in his music about mental health. Is Chance the Rapper that vocal about his mental health? I don't.
Towards his later albums, which got a lot of hate, which I mean, I get it. It was pretty, lovey-dovey and very niche almost, but it was still good, and it was still a good point for him. To go from acid rap to something talking about how much he loves his kids and his wife and his life. Great for him. I'm very, very happy
I think
for him to get
that's
that
something,
far.
especially with rap, we're seeing a lot more of because some of the first rappers in that genre were obviously Biggie, Tupac, and there's always rappers throughout history. Unfortunately, have died for whatever reason, and it's different when you see the guys that are still around, your Jay-Z's, your Eminems, your 50 Cents,
and
compared to, it's almost the first, we're starting to see multiple generations of rap, because you really got to think, I mean, that had a major influence starting,
everything.
Everything
Everything
a
in rap
major
music.
cultural influence.
Yeah, it set it off
started.
as almost a counterculture. But by the way, he was born in January and he died in September when he was 26. So he was very, very close to the 27 Club. Crazy.
Wild.
I mean, and obviously, I mean, you look at you say, we mentioned the 27 Club. I mean, it's littered with guys that have struggled with.
Exactly, and it's
mental
littered
health.
with some of the best musicians out there. Again, I'm going to do another search on it in all honesty because it is just
There's
Cobain. I mean, is obviously another
is the number one
massive
person that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And I know as soon as it comes up, as soon as I look at the list, I'm going to be like, oh, this one. I'm pretty sure wasn't Jimi Hendrix on it as well?
probably around then. Yeah, I know he died pretty young, but there's this thing that comes with being a great artist and a creator that you have to kind of have a different viewpoint than the general reality and like see things in a different way and articulate it in a way that someone who's perfectly mentally stable or not stable, but not.
And the
hasn't
crazy
thought differently wouldn't be able to create such great things such as Kurt Cobain and people like that.
That is very
so
true, and I'm looking at
I
it
got
right
the
now.
list. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean,
On
Brian
the same
Jones,
page,
Jimi
yep.
Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison. I mean, Kurt Cobain,
But
Amy
just
Whitehouse.
Think about if these
Gene
things
Michael,
were more.
Oh, how do you say his last name?
The Winehouse documentary is unbelievable on Netflix.
That it is. I have seen it. Who are you talking
Who's
about?
G. Michael Basquiat? Do I
Doesn't
not know
ring
who
a
that
bell.
Jean-Michel Basquiat. I don't know. I'd have to do a complete search on him. I would probably know him if I
But
looked
so
through it.
how did Chance the Rapper really kick you off?
Oh yeah.
Let's get
So
back to that.
again, so the entire acid rap album was all about smoking weed, drinking lean, and doing acid. And in high school, I wasn't getting access to lean at all. I was smoking weed constantly, and then I would do acid on the weekends. And back then, when I was 16, 17 years old, I didn't think it was a big issue doing it every other weekend, as you guys definitely know. Like, it's been seen, it's
People you see people literally lose their minds in high school
Exactly.
and college, and I think it has something to do with just being so young and your brain is underdeveloped.
Exactly.
that-
I really do think it is, and I promise to this day that is one thing I will never, ever, ever touch again. I do not want that in my body. I
Yeah.
do not want to feel that way. It was horrible the last few times. I've
if
ever
people are giving you, if you're buying
I
drugs,
fucking hate
if you're
this
getting
shit.
drugs from people and you can't tell what it is, like don't do drugs like that.
Yeah,
because
I mean-
you never
Yeah.
know. It's like you look at Mac Miller, prime example. He
Exactly,
died
he died on
because he
fentanyl.
thought he was doing. Yeah, he thought he was doing cocaine, something that a lot of people that are famous do. And he just died because it was bad drugs. You can't. It might look like every other drug, whatever,
You
but
have
it
no
could be
idea.
tainted.
Like, it's a white powder. White powders come in all shapes and forms in everything. You know
can't
what I'm
trust
saying?
people these
Not all
days.
shapes and
You
forms,
just
but
can't do it.
everything. No, you can't at all, and it's not a sin because drugs aren't good. Period. At all.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
like-
gonna say. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and promote drug usage.
No,
I mean,
no, that is. I think that's the opposite point of this entire show. In all honesty,
yeah, it's pretty clear about that.
Yeah, but the thing with Mac Miller is it's a pretty prime example because like
I mean,
It's
it's
the
one of those
most
things
out
that
there
it
example
happens
that
to
people
everyone,
say.
and this unfortunately affects a ton of people, and that's obviously why we're here, is to bring light to a lot of those things, and obviously the influence of music and glorification of some of these things is something that you see.
leads
It's
kids
not
down a bad
even.
road.
I mean, there's music is kind of what the focus is today, but I mean, in everything, whether it's video games to books to whatever, that a lot of mental health, I think, manifests itself by connecting to whatever you're surrounding yourself with. So if you're susceptible, I have a very addictive personality. I drink, I gamble, like
Hence
I
the
smoke
network.
cigarettes. Like, it's I have an addictive personality, and I'm aware of that. So that's why I don't do drugs. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
especially
it's
when
about
you see
wrecking
people-
yourself at the end of the.
when you
at the
see
end of the
people
day.
when you see people dropping like flies around you, it's like a very good sign to not do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. 110%. And then also going back to the Chance the Rapper thing. So I believe, I'm not 110% sure, but after acid rap and everything, he was heavily into Xanax. And there are certain lines where he says that he was into it and he's since stopped it. And that actually did a big issue into his mental health and took a big chunk out of his brain, he said. And that's, why he does what he does now and is a completely different human being than when he was as a younger rapper.
So he's claiming that the chunk of the brain it took out
Not a
turned
full
out
chunk
for
of his
the
brain.
good.
He didn't say it took a chunk of his brain out,
Oh,
but he
okay.
did say it affected his mental health. It affected his mental
Absolutely.
states. It affected
But it made him
how
better?
he looked at it. Some people will argue it made him better, but at the same time, do you want somebody to be better, or do you want somebody to be mentally better and more mentally healthy and to do better for the world around
Yeah,
them?
I
That's
mean,
just an
and
interesting case.
I mean,
Yeah.
that goes back to Eminem.
It really
is
does,
what was
actually.
the first one for me. I mean, that was more my genre of rap when I was younger. Was 50 Cent, Eminem, Jay-Z, that the Biggie Smalls, Tupac, all that was kind of like my shit growing up, and that was mental health in those
Was never
w-
spoken
w- was-
about. Eminem spoke about it
Eminem was
a
the
decent amount.
first one that at least I connected to, and that was even later in his career where it was kind of
Right.
the pieces of the puzzle were
Cleaning
there.
Out My Closet came out. And
Yeah.
Stan came out. It was he opened up himself as a book. Like,
Exactly.
But he also uses mental health as like a weapon in his music. He's like, I'm going to use this to make the
Oh, and he killed it. With it. He
most
murdered
insane
with it.
possible shit that you could hear.
Yeah, like I can't believe that was mainstream at the time.
It is unbelievable.
It is honestly unbelievable that was looked at as this is not that it's not good music because it is great music.
It's
He
no WAP.
makes wonderful music. Have you guys seen the Jack Black WAP video?
Is that him dancing in the
Yes.
in the fountain?
Yes,
In his, I
in
didn't know
his
that was WAP.
Speedo. Yeah, no. If you
witnessed
haven't
that.
watched it, definitely watch it. It is
Jack Black doing
fucking
the WAP.
amazing.
I'll have to
Yeah,
look it
no,
up.
it's amazing. It's on its TikTok.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No,
TikTok scares me. If you've
You-
watched any of my
funny.
other
It
it's
is
not
funny. It makes
something
you
that
laugh.
I watched and I was like, oh my god, I'm very, very happy I watched this content. But it was something that I was like, the world needs to see this.
I was like, talk about mental health.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, just kidding. He seemed like he was having a lot of fun. He was.
Oh, he's living his best life now.
Jack Black's doing pretty good. If you haven't noticed,
Happy for Jackie.
Ever since School of Rock, I mean, come on.
Still
School of
rocking.
Rock was amazing. And then also though, after Chance the Rapper, I was really into Mac Miller, as I said, and it kind of started when his first mixtape came out. Kids, I think, was his first one.
Is that the one with the best day ever on it? Am I right?
No, that's called
whole-
Best Day
it's a
Ever.
whole separate
It was
mixtape.
a different
Yeah.
mixtape, yes. But Kids stood for like something ridiculous.
that
like-
wasn't Kool-Aid and frozen pizza.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I nailed it.
Yeah. Good job.
I got it.
Good job. But
Woke.
so like it kind of started with me, like he was partying, drinking, smoking pot, and then I was partying, drinking, smoking pot. So it kind of he didn't influence me in any certain way, shape, or form. But at the same time, it seemed that every time he might have subconsciously, but
Well, I do think that is something that when you resonate with an artist, especially in music, Kurt Cobain is another perfect example of. He died at 27, guys. Like
Yeah.
he really resonated with that, era of youth, and that's why you see like these almost different, aspects of mental illness and in both these
And-
cases drug abuse and that side of everything and drug addiction and how powerful that can be for like every how long ago did Kurt Cobain die? Every
Oh, my-
10 20 years you run
recently
into
it's been horrible. though.
Whitney there's always these
past
artists
10 years
that
have been
are just
terrible.
every like remind and resonate with the certain group of people that really bring mental health to the forefront. And hopefully people can
Kinda see that as an issue, and-
as sad as it is, and it sucks when you have these young artists die, obviously.
How old was Juice WRLD when he died?
Um,
21, 22?
I guess. I don't know. I wasn't a huge Juice WRLD guy, but
Yeah,
I
I'm not-
really,
I know he died
I
really
enjoyed
young.
Juice WRLD. I really did.
I know
but at
maybe
same
one
time-
song, but I think the one thing that Mac Miller was especially good at was being able to connect with the listeners, and
Yes.
he made you feel like there was a little bit of him and you and everybody that you know too.
Yeah, 110%.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why I did get to like resonate with him so much, was because, again, like I said, as his mixtapes and albums came out, I kind of grew with them. So
Absolutely.
when his harder, darker stuff came out, I was going through a harder time in my life, a darker time in my life. When some of his lighter stuff was out, and when he was younger, I was just a young kid being happy. And then when his like recovery stuff started coming out towards the right before he died and right after he died, was Swimming in Circles, I was very, very tied into that because it was also about the same time I was trying to get clean and recover. And even though even actually it made a point in those last 2 albums, he says multiple times that he didn't do perfectly. You know, he has relapsed, yada yada, but he's still trying to get better at the end of the day. And I think that's all that really matters. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't perfect. You're going to fuck up. It happens. You know, and the best thing you can do is just kind of take it in stride, see when you fucked up, see how you fucked up, and keep moving from it. And I think he did a very good job of showing that in his music in a very good way, in a very poetic way and helping people out and connecting it with other people.
Absolutely. I mean, there's very few careers that you can really track that kind of arc with. That really kind of is really stride for stride with the struggle with mental health.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think see it.
You can really see it plainly in his
map it out
music.
very
Absolutely.
easily, and that's very, very cool to me. And just music itself actually has helped me throughout so much. When I was away in the psych ward, we were only allowed the iPads. What was it? 3 or 4 hours a day, something ridiculous. And they had an iHeartRadio app. So I would sit on the iHeartRadio.
Are we on iHeartRadio or iHeart?
I think we are submitted to iHeartRadio. Yes.
Okay, well, maybe.
Then we like them here.
Yeah. we are fans of iHeartRadio. I enjoy iHeartRadio. Continue to put your music in mental hospitals, please. It really helps.
Okay. Or we get Gage Your Health in there. Where
honestly,
it's like
I don't think it would work. I don't think BP2 would take it.
No.
What was I going to say?
Well,
but
YouTube will.
It'll be like the Catcher in the Rye will be like banned.
Ooh, that would be insane, juicy. So yeah, when I was
terrible, we were next Catcher in the Rye. I don't want to be banned.
It wouldn't be terrible. What do you mean? That's an American classic.
Yeah, I mean, it got John Lennon killed.
How old was he?
I think he was older than 27. I think definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was in the mental hospital, so we had the iHeartRadio app for the iPads, and of course they weren't buying the full subscription or the full part of any game. You know, it was always the light versions and stuff. So I'd have the iHeartRadio app up. Oh, they were horrible. I would have the iHeartRadio app up, and you can only listen to so many songs from each artist. And for some reason, Mac Miller and Chance the Rapper would always constantly play, and they just really like helped me through it and really kind of guided me through it as I would play like Where's My Water, light version, and like help me out a little bit there.
And you were super into them before you went into the cycle?
Yes,
right?
I was super into them.
So that's like almost like a sign. It's some of the only rapper music you can listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
When I was sitting there and I was finally, it gave me enough time to sit there and kind of look at music in a different light, and that's why I look at music in a way that a lot of people I feel don't, in more of a poetic way, in more of a interesting way, in more of a deep way, because it's not just, it's not just somebody making music, it's them putting their soul on the paper. And Kanye West is actually another great person to bring up in this situation here, because because recently, obviously, with this
I'm sorry.
I'll explain.
Yeah.
I was trying to find us on iHeartRadio, and I couldn't find it. It's submitted, but it's not on iHeartRadio yet.
All right.
And
hey, iHeart, get your shit together.
Well, it started playing music by accident. Then you guys
call
looked at
them
it.
out. Yeah, we're not even on.
Yeah, next time, just ignore it.
Okay. But yeah, Kanye West is another perfect person to bring up because of his recent struggles with mental health, and I personally don't really blame him for the way he's acting. I do blame him in a sense where he's not taking his meds and he should be. But there should be people around him that know if, the entire Kardashian clan knows he is so, crazy or whatever.
So
they should be around him to support him better, and they should have known this from the get-go.
Yeah, now, so you say something like, so when you say like, oh, he should be taking his meds.
Yes.
Like
yes,
now,
100%.
is that something that, you can really fault him for, per se?
In the state he's in right now, I don't know.
Like,
I can't tell you yes or no.
Yeah, I've just always found that, interesting because I think that is a often knee-jerk reaction to when you see, they're off their meds, it's like, okay, why do we not seem to like look
on his meds? He dropped My
right.
Beautiful Dark Twisted
Now,
Fantasy.
yeah, I'm looking
it's
at
the best album of the past 10 years.
Well, I don't think that's the point we should be making.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but still.
Yeah, no, I just find that as more from a social, community, type aspect is that's always something I don't know if I've just never seen it addressed much as far as why do we have this not connotation, but when you see someone that's
expectation,
they're off their meds, that's why it's like, okay, why do we not seem to figure out, well, why are they going off their meds? For me, I'm not familiar with it. I've never been in a situation where I've never had to take medication.
Medication
like that.
sucks. Medication is horrible, dude. It leads to some very bad side effects. The antidepressants.
I hear that all the time. So why are we putting people on these meds?
Because it really does help after a while mentally. Even though my stomach was really messed up from there was other issues I had. But
is that you going through finding the right medication, or is that a direct result of this is
no? That was a direct side effect of the medication I was on. That was a direct side effect of the medication.
And did you find that helped you?
Yeah, it did help me mentally 110%. At the same time, the drawbacks were so bad, and there were more drawbacks than just what I said, and I'm not going into it. But
no, of course I understand.
So, my bad.
Train mess you up?
It was ED.
I mean, it happens to people.
Dude, I don't.
Everyone gets a soft dick.
Slippy, I don't want to fucking talk about it right now. Okay? This is a very sore subject.
Thank you for filling that break there. So what exactly are Kanye West's mental health issues? Is he bipolar? Is he schizophrenic? Is he I'm not exactly positive.
Bipolar. I'm not 100% sure about the schizophrenia. I wouldn't be 100% surprised. But I know on one of his albums, Yay, it was called. The backdrop was his ranch in Utah, and the wording on it was, it was something like, I love being bipolar, I hate myself, or something like that. I don't know. It was something.
That's a very good title.
It was. I thought it was very, very good, just because it did show off a very good way of
creative.
I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. Was exactly exactly what the words were, and I thought it was a very good way of showing it, because the highs of being bipolar are awesome. They are. You feel like.
Do you struggle with bipolar to the extent
with the fact that I have manic depression, it goes up and down.
Obviously, yeah. So I mean, would you say you've dealt with it on a similar, not consistently, but to what it would almost appear Kanye goes through? Obviously, we're not in the doctor's room.
Not to that severity ever. Okay. Other than the one time when I was so low that I ended up in the psych ward. That was the only time I ever got to an extreme. But I can relate on the ups and the downs and the feelings.
Absolutely.
When you do something, when you're feeling this way, when you're feeling manic or when you're feeling depressed, that the things you do in that time, they make sense to you. They don't, when you're saying this stuff to other people, they think you're crazy. And to you at the time, it makes complete and utter sense. You see the fucking line from A to B, and that's it. And other people are seeing lines.
That wall's white, and it's a black wall.
Exactly. You think that's what it is, and that's one of the biggest issues. And I think that is Kanye's biggest issue, is that he just doesn't know when to take his meds, and
he has a massive fucking platform.
Yes.
We are watching a man that had somewhat has some kind of ability to run for president of the United States. A platform on that scale that he could basically beat a libertarian candidate.
I think
if he really committed his mind to it.
I think he did beat the libertarian. Or no, he didn't beat the libertarian candidate.
Joe powered through a little bit.
It's called Joe Wee.
I'm glad to know. But I think he beat out somebody, someone in the Green Party or something.
It wouldn't shock me. But I mean, so it's not every day. You pass the homeless guy on the street, and they could be as bad or worse as Kanye, and Kanye just happens to have a massive platform. You give Kanye's
He has such a
account to someone else,
massive
like one of
platform.
the someone like that. Who knows what we would say.
He got 60,000 votes in the presidential election.
That's not
60,000.
that many.
But are you kidding me, Sippy?
it's like
60,000 people went. This insane man is a much better choice. I want him.
I don't
in.
think that would even win one state, but I would vote for Kanye if he was a legitimate candidate. If he, I don't.
I mean,
made
if
some
he was
great
on
points.
his meds, maybe. At the point that this country's at,
as I
maybe,
said,
why
as
not?
you said, he's a pretty good option.
Honestly, after,
Relatively speaking,
relatively speaking, 110% right. But
Could be worse.
yeah, no,
it might be worse. I don't know. I have no idea.
We're not going to know until we find out.
checks and balances,
Kanye,
guys,
2020
checks and balances.
2024.
2024. I'm writing him in.
We'll start campaigning for him.
All right, yeah, no.
Kanye, come on our
Gage
show.
Gage Your Health is now officially supporting Kanye 2024's race. So,
And iHeartRadio.
That's not true. That's not true for all the listeners out there.
Kanye,
TBD.
just come on. We're gonna.
if
No,
you
this is
come
right
on,
to
I will
Kanye. We're gonna
totally-
tag you in this. Hey,
if you
Kanye.
come on, I will totally support it and plug you the entire time.
Kanye, you can buy my vote. Come on my show.
110%.
He
It's
doesn't. He
bullshit.
doesn't,
Viable.
need, he doesn't need our plugging. Believe me.
No, I don't think
he
so.
can handle it himself. But
I don't think he
Follow
needs to come here,
at
but-
Kanye West on Instagram.
we'll get a Kanye
No,
level.
follow him on Twitter because that is much better. Oh, my God.
Unfiltered Kanye.
Yes,
We
it's
are
the
in the
best.
weeds, Joe.
I think we should get into. Can get Kanye level followers on this show, and then he'll have no choice but to recognize it.
You're 10% right, and then he'll want to talk about this.
Like, these people
he'll
keep
want to
talking
get on
about
here
me.
and talk about mental health. He would love it. He would have a field day on here.
I'll go to him.
Kanye, Kanye, since I know you need a platform, we'll let you come on here.
Just start going.
You
Just
can,
start going, dude.
Preach.
Saturday Night Live rant all over again times 10. I do not care.
This might be the best platform for him because no one's listening.
Yeah, yeah,
That's not true. There's hundreds.
Yeah, no, it is.
No,
I think it is in the hundreds.
All right, it was a joke, guys. Like, relax.
Come on, man. We're successful.
We're talking about Kanye West coming
We're
on
sensitive,
here. Like,
buddy. Relax. You can't be coming in
Stop
our feelings.
mental health.
no.
This is about mental health, please.
Yeah.
We really need to, make
I'm
it
sorry, I
safe.
didn't mean to.
You offended.
I got it. I'll leave, I guess. Like, sorry.
You can't get out.
Yeah,
you
I'm
literally
trapped in
can't get
here.
out of this situation right now.
All right, let's bring it back to music here.
Yeah, exactly. But so that's another person I very heavily resonate with because I do see the issues, like what he's seeing, like how he feels and what he thinks. I do understand that manic behavior of, this is right, this is a good idea, and this is what I should be doing,
Right.
rather than the actual rational thing to do. So that's another thing, and he's just another person that somebody should look at and take notes from. Don't follow him. Clearly,
This is what not to do.
don't.
in
Yeah,
some in some
almost what
senses?
not to do at the same time, but
Also, what to do in some situations.
exactly what to do because
Well,
at the same time he is being himself.
Yeah,
And that does need to be shown to a certain extent. I do not agree with methods that make you a zombie at all. I do agree that everyone needs their own personality, and certain meds do turn you into a zombie.
Now,
So-
what has helped most for you? So when people, if someone,
Xanax.
fair enough. No, I mean, but
110%.
yeah, I mean,
no,
if
that's not even a joke.
yeah, no, that.
It is. Like it was Xanax and weed. Honestly, has helped me the most, just due to the fact of the way my anxiety mostly is panic attacks, and it's random panic attacks. So when I can take a pill that just shuts it off, or I can smoke and it just shuts it off, or I can smoke and I'll go to sleep. It's a very, very comforting feeling to have those medicines near me. And don't get me wrong, the antidepressants have helped. I've been on every single one under the sun, but they suck. They all suck at the same time. They get rid of some of the shittier thoughts.
I've taken antidepressants before. I've taken a few. I've tried, and none have just simply worked for me.
Have you ever been on them for a long period of time?
No, it's
Okay.
I've just not like crazy. Like nothing more than probably 8 months to a
Oh,
year.
okay. That's well far enough into it because normally you have to take it for up to a month for it to be working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done so some some much less. Some I've done for a month. Some I've done for 2. I think the longest was on and off for about 8 months, but it'd be a month consecutive,
Yeah.
month here or there.
Yeah,
mostly.
no, I understand.
And I just never found them to work for me. And I think some of especially the depression I deal with. where it's kind of more about the other things than the medicine. Has there been anything for you? Obviously, having Xanax and weed, which you're